Who is in your Premier League 2020/21 team of the season? That is what we're asking over the next couple of weeks. This is episode 2, and I've got John from JPWHU TV. John, how are you?
I'm very well, mate. Thank you very much for asking me on. First person to get the name of the channel right at first go. Very happy with that. Thank you very much. Everyone says JPTV or West Ham JP. It's weird. But yeah, all good, man. Looking forward to, well, by the time this goes out, the game would have obviously played, but was recording this on the night before the last game of the season. Buzzing, raring to go. A bit like your old man, slightly a bit too confident for the game, but you never know. You never know what happens.
Yeah, I know. Just sum up briefly our season, because obviously we're gonna have different fans on as well. But it's just been a whirlwind. It's been mad.
That's an understatement, Jake. That really is an understatement. Bearing in mind, literally, the end of last season, we were 2 or 3 points away from relegation, and now we're looking to try and get 1 or possibly all 3 points to finish in Europa League. It's been a long time coming, long time coming, but it's been I don't want to call it a crazy season, because everyone said when Leicester won this league, it was a crazy season. Leicester won it and totally deserved to do so, but this is our season, really. This is our season.
Yeah, I completely agree. But just before we go further, I'd like to tell you about our sponsors for this series. Thank you very much to the Blowing Bubbles online magazine for collaborating with us. So if you could let me just get it up. If you use the discount code JCox at checkout, you can get £5 off. £5 off a yearly subscription. So check out the link in the description down below. Thank you very much to the guys over there for helping the channel out. So as I said, there's the discount code to get yourself a £5 off. I'd highly recommend it. And thank you very much to them. But without further ado, we'll get into your team then, John. So who have you put in goal?
It was a very, very difficult choice, because we've got 7 or 8 unbelievably good goalkeepers, but I've chosen one that's gone under the radar a lot because of just how well the team have played. Just weren't able to survive relegation. And no, it's not Johnston, even though he was very, very close to being in there. I've gone for the Fulham loanee Areola, one of the best goalkeepers I've seen this season, and deservedly needs to be playing at the top flight on a regular basis.
Yeah, fantastic. And as you said, gone under the radar, that's for sure. Obviously, he said he doesn't want to go back to PSG, and he's too good for the Championship. So we'll just have to wait and see. But I mean, we've been linked with him. We'll just have to wait and see where he goes in the summer. But fantastic keeper.
Absolutely, and a goalkeeper I would add. He's a young man as well, for that matter. He's only in his early 20s, if I remember correctly. So be a very, very good investment for any football team, much less us.
Yeah, I completely agree. So we'll move on to the right back then. Who've you gone for there?
A player that I've, ever since he made his debut in the Champions League 3 seasons ago, Trent Alexander-Arnold, an absolutely baller for absolute baller for Liverpool. Been playing very, very well with the England games as well. I know he's had a bit of a wonky season this season, but I've admired him for 3 seasons, and he's the first on the team sheet for me. Well, one of the first, I should say.
Yeah, definitely gone off a little bit this season, but for the age and what he's done in the last few seasons, been an absolutely fantastic player on the right hand side for Liverpool. So we'll move into your centre back pairing then. Who's the first of your 2 centre backs?
Well, the first one straight away has to be Ogbonna. Again, I know his injury put him out a little bit, but I've put him on the the left-sided centre back, and the right-sided pairing is one of my favourite Leicester players, Fofana. Absolutely, the two of them together would work absolutely incredible. They would be an absolute brick wall to try and get through.
Yeah. Yeah, and that for Fornals really. I mean, he's still only 20 years old. I think he's really come on this season at Leicester alongside. And I mean, I think he's had Soyuncu, Johnny Evans by his side. Some pretty good centre backs that but he's really stamped his authority. And for such a young age, a fantastic breakthrough season for him. That's for sure.
Absolutely. I mean, Johnny Evans was very, very close to being the centre back pairing. It was a real toss up between the two of them, especially how both of them played at the FA Cup final as well. But just watching that, and it made my mind up for it. It really did.
Yeah, and of course Angelo Ogbonna, a brick wall yet again this season, and definitely organises and does everything we want from a centre back, that's for sure. But we'll move out onto the left hand side then. Who've you picked for left back?
Controversial, I reckon, for a lot of people, but he has been one of if not the best left back in the Premier League. The only spud to get into the side as well for that. Oh, sorry, second spud I should say to get into the side. Yeah. But again, the first to really come off the team sheet as far as I'm concerned, Regulian. Unbelievable player. Is again a youngster. He's going to grow quite into the game. He's done some fantastic displays for Spurs this season, which is one of the reasons why they are floating around where we are at the moment. He's an absolute baller. Absolutely love the kid, and I would scream with the ecstasy if we ever signed him. It's never going to happen because Levy doesn't like doing deals with Premier League teams, but I would absolutely take him. Really would take him.
Yeah, and definitely gone onto the radar in a pretty poor season for Spurs, which we could all smile at. That's for sure. Fantastic player. And I mean, not from our perspective, we want him to push on, but definitely a talent there. That's for sure.
Definitely.
So we will move in to central midfield then. So we'll start in the middle. Who's your first of your two central midfielders?
There's only one man that springs to mind straight away for this, and it's Declan Rice. He's, again, we've all been singing his praises for the last 3 love that photo. We've all been singing his praises for the last 3 seasons. And it's just, the rest of the world in the footballing world are coming around to what we've been saying since he made his debut against Burnley, last game of the season, a few seasons back now. He's an incredible player. He's proven his worth in the Premier League, quite rightly so, stepped up to be captain, and is also, is really stepping up for the England contingent as well, for that matter. For example, the last 3 England fixtures, you got man of the match for 2 of those 3. And people were slating him 6 months ago.
Yeah, obviously we see him week in, week out. Unfortunate his injury that he's had towards the end of the season, but still a fantastic player, and has a massive influence, as we know as West Ham fans, on players like Souček and the attacking players as well. He's just an overall buzz, and he's just fantastic.
He is, and the pairing partner I've put him up with is a very, very unsung hero as well, for that matter.
Yeah.
Which, do you want me to talk about it now? Yeah.
Yeah, go.
Okay, yeah, as unsung hero, I've for those that watch my channel over the last couple of years, they'll know straight away who I'm talking about when I say he is England's Mark Noble. He really is England Mark Noble. Completely underrated. Nobody appreciates what he does for a lot of the time. He's a league winner recently. When he's gone on to captain England, he's done some very good performances for England as well. It's Jordan Henderson, an unbelievably underrated and very, very valuable member of any football team.
Yeah. I mean, as we said with Regulon, probably gone under the radar this season because of how poor of a season Liverpool have had, and yet we say Liverpool have had a poor season. It's probably, we don't know, but they're probably going to get Champions League football still, with a kind of comeback at the end of the season. But yeah, I mean, they've definitely had to experiment this season with the amount of centre backs that they've got out injured, but he is a captain, and I like the way you say England's Mark Noble. Yeah, he definitely rings bells there for me. But let's go on to the right hand side then. Your right midfielder / winger.
A player that proved his worth against us last week. unbelievably good football player, Matheus Pereira. He's had such a decent performance with West Brom. It's unreal. I was very, very close between picking him or Maitland-Niles. Those two for West Brom are unbelievably good wingers. Unbelievably good. And don't deserve to be relegated in any shape or form. But Pereira is he's another level. He really is. He's the big fish in the small pond that is West Brom.
Yeah, and we saw his class the other night. And I mean, he scored. It was a bit unfortunate for us to score straight from a corner. But yeah, fantastic player with lots of ability, and I'm sure he'll get a move to somewhere in the Premier League because he's too good for the Championship. That's for sure.
And to be honest with you, he's too good to be in the lower league of the lower half of the Premier League as well. He is absolutely diamond player, and again, a player that we really, really should be going for now that West Brom are relegated.
Yeah, and we had this discussion with a couple of people in the week because, you know, Lingard, he's not on the best of form. Who would you rather have, Pereira or Lingard? And a lot of people have said Pereira after seeing him against us, but that's an interesting debate, that.
Well, yeah, I can see the point, but like you're saying, Jay, you know, we've seen Lingard week in, week out. We've only seen Pereira on a handful of occasions. You can't judge a player on one game. You know, I've watched quite a few. You know, obviously we've watched Pereira play against us twice. It was very, very difficult in both fixtures. I've been able to watch West Brom a few other times. A very, very good player. Is he better than Lingard? No. Would I have Lingard out on the left and Pereira out on the right next season? Absolutely. Unbelievable attacking Pereiras, those two. Really would be good.
Yeah, definitely. Let's move over to the left-hand side of the midfield. Who've you picked?
Again, a controversial figure. A player that likes to eat the grass a lot more than he likes to run on it, that's for sure. He dives way too much for my liking, but is an unbelievable talent and could be available for a reasonable price now that Hodgson's left Crystal Palace. It's Wilfried Zaha. Well, Louis Zaha, who am I talking about? Wilfried Zaha. Absolutely love the guy. It was a shame that it didn't work out for him when he went to Man United. It was too big of a club for him, but again, like with Pereira at West Brom, he's a big fish in a small pond when it comes to Crystal Palace. He makes them tick a lot, and they would be useless without. Well, not all useless, but relatively useless without Zaha. He builds up so much, and we hate him when he plays against us, but we would take him any day of the week. A very, very talented player, very fast as well, for that matter. Defensive mind's not exactly 100%, but for how Palace have done this season and the way that Zaha's been playing, give or take a few niggles he's had at the start, like all wingers do and centre forwards have, he's had an incredible season, absolutely incredible.
Yeah, and I think his progression has been helped slightly by Eberechi Eze coming in as well. I mean, it's supposed we were after him, and in the end we got Ben Rama, but you know, a fantastic pairing that they've had, and they're definitely small. They are big fishes in a small pond, that's for sure. And you know, he was linked massively in the last couple of years with a move to Arsenal, but it'll be interesting to see whether he makes a move now elsewhere. So let's go on to your strike force then. Who is your first striker?
First name that came to the forefront, as always and again, is the other Spud, who causes a lot of controversy between the West Ham community. But Harry Kane, you can't grumble at his numbers. You really can't. His performances, he works very, very hard all the time. Yes, all right, he had a few niggles with injuries, like all centre forwards do. It's been a stalwart for England for close on to 8-9 years now. It's been one of Spurs' best player for relatively the same sort of time. He's an unbelievably very good player, and you just can't not include him in a conversation like this. You really can't.
Yeah, and he's coming up against Mo Salah for the Golden Boot yet again this season. He's just a goal machine, and I think it's pretty much nailed on. He's leaving Spurs, and I can guarantee if he goes anywhere in England, there's only one place he's going, and that's Manchester City.
Not necessarily. I know why. Yeah, it's understandable, the price tag for one, but the other centre forward is the reason why I think you go to Leicester. Him and Jamie Vardy
Ooh.
together would be unbelievably good. I said it when we watched when I was over on Garage Football, did the watch along for the FA Cup final. We were talking about it, players, and we're talking about Vardy and how well he's been doing for Leicester and stuff. And he's obviously doing as well as he has because he's not playing for England anymore. And I did say that Kane going to Leicester with Vardy alongside him, that is a Premier League winning side. Those two are in any football club. They're finishing in the top two, 100%.
Mm-hmm. I mean, I could definitely see it. Nobody's actually mentioned that, but if they've got the money there, we know Leicester's owners, they're really good owners, and I could see them actually making a move in. That's a really good shout, and I mean, a pairing that would consolidate them Champions League football. And I like Leicester; they're a good club with good owners, and that could be a really, really interesting move for Harry Kane.
And also, for that matter, you just imagine how blue the London Stadium's going to turn if those two were playing on the same pitch against us. we hate Vardy and we hate Kane, but we hate them because they are such good players. They always score against us, and they are unbelievable. The sort of players that we should have been looking at 7 or 8 years ago. Really should have done.
Yeah. That's for sure. Right, so there is your team. We'll review it in just a second. But who's gonna be the gaffer? Who is going to manage this side to Premier League victory?
Well, if you're taking it purely out of manager of this season, taking the obvious trophies out of the equation for other managers, there's only one man that has wielded proper success from, as we were talking about at the start of the stream, mate, was literally the fact that this season, this time last year, we were just about keeping our heads above relegation, and now we're chasing down Europa League position. It has to be David Moyes. It has to be, and purely because his worth ethic. Okay, we've all criticised him about some of the substitutions he's made and the timing that he's made those as well, but you can't argue with the numbers. We are as the time of this recording, we are on joint with our all-time Premier League points tally ever since it started in the 92-93 season. No other managers come close to that, with the exception of Harry Redknapp. That's it, and even he didn't really kick on since we did that. So it has to be Moyes. It has to be Moyes.
Yep. And it is, and I'm going to certainly put it in my season review, and many other people are. It's literally from relegation to European football, and that is the bottom line to it. At the start of the season, we had the whole Dean Garner, we had the whole, we lost the first 2 games, and then all of a sudden we just found that intense drive in us. Soufal, very much down to that. These players that he brought in, very much down to that. And people have said, some people have put in their team of seasons. Yes, people have gone Pep Guardiola, but I'd say to that, to be honest, look at the squad. I'm looking at the squad that he's got. And Mike, who did his last night, said I could manage that team and win and win the Premier League, because they've just got talent bursting from every single angle. But David Moyes has really, really done a rebuild this season in a very short amount of time.
Absolutely, and that's the point I'm making there, Jake. Is that Guardiola's won the league 4 times out of the last 5 seasons. That's not an amazing manager. Hodgson winning the league with Crystal Palace, or Moyes winning the league with West Ham, or when Ranieri won it with Leicester, that's the sign of a good manager. That taking relatively average players and turning them into league-winning form. That's a good manager. A man like you said, mate. At the end of the day, Jake, your hat could manage the Man City team to win the league. It genuinely could do. You don't need any intelligence. You just like that. These are the players. This is what you do. Bam, go. And that's how it happens. And that's what he's been doing for the last 4 out of 5 seasons.
Yeah. I completely agree. Right then, so let's review John's team, and we will go through it now. So, Areola in goal, a back four of Reguilón, Ogbonna, Fofana, Alexander-Arnold, a midfield four of Zaha, Henderson, Rice and Pereira, and then the strike force up front of Kane and Vardy, with David Moyes managing that side. I mean that's not too shabby, is it, John?
No, and as we're saying, the majority of those players are players that have gone under the radar this season.
Yeah.
Definitely. You know, obviously
Yeah.
with the exception of Rice and Henderson and
Mm.
Vardy and Kane and whatnot, those you said it yourself, mate, before we started recording this, that I've selected people that nobody else, a few people that nobody else has thought about yet.
Yeah, and I mean this is a very young squad as well. I mean you've got Trent Alexander-Arnold, Fofana, who's only 20. There's definitely up and coming more talent that can be that these players are going to add to their collection of footballing quality. That's for sure. But that is John's team of the season. Thank you very much for coming on.
You're welcome, mate, and thank you very much for asking me on. And it's been a pleasure to actually properly talk to you, because I know I came on once briefly, but it was a bit part of a couple of minutes here and there. But no, it's been a good conversation, mate. I've enjoyed it, and I look forward to seeing you for my season review.
Yeah, definitely. And subscribe to John's channel as well, JPWHU TV. As John said at the start, it's not JPTV, it's not WHU TV, it's JPWHU TV. I'll put the link in the description as well.
Mate.
So there we go. Come on, you irons. I'll be back very, very soon. Bye-bye.